Evaluating functions, the basics. To evaluate a function at a given value, whether that be a number, a variable, another variable, or an expression, plug in, okay, or substitute the given value for the variable and simplify. So, very brief introduction there. This is, I've heard it called many times plug and chug, okay? Even had a professor say dance with who brung you. Right here, f of x is equal to 7x plus 4. So what I did is I gave you f of 1, I gave you f of negative 2, and f of x minus 3. So I'm using the same function f for all three of these. So for the first one here, f of 1 is going to equal 7 times 1 plus 4. We're going to plug this 1 in for x. Okay, substitute it. So then we do the order of operations. We multiply. 7 times 1 is 7 plus 4, and 7 plus 4 is 11. All right, and then we have f of negative 2. All right, f of negative 2. So we're going to say this is going to be 7 times negative 2 plus 4. And that's going to be 7 times negative 2 is negative 14 plus 4. Right, we're going to do that first order of operations. Negative 14 plus 4 is negative 10. And then f of x minus 3. So this part is an expression. That's what I'm plugging in for x right here. All right. So this is going to be f of x. So then 7 times whatever's there plus 4. Well, what's there? X minus 3. All of this goes in for x. Okay. Even though it's got x in it, it's still an expression. It goes in for x. So 7 times everything that's there. And we read this f of, right? F of x, f of 1, f of negative 2, f of x minus 3. Not f times x minus 3 or x times 1, f times 1 or f times x. It's of. Its function notation is of. So then we distribute. We get 7x minus 21, and then we bring down our plus 4. And then simplify. We got to add or combine the like terms here. 7x and then minus 17, right? Negative 21 plus 4 is negative 17. So let's look at another example or two, or many, many more. So here, again, f of x is 11x minus 6. So f of 2 equals 11 times what? 2 minus 6. I don't need a parenthesis there. So 11 times 2 is what? 22 minus 6, which is 16. F of negative 3 is going to be 11 times negative 3 minus 6. And I need to go ahead. Let's go ahead and kind of get some demarcation here between these. All right, and we'll do the same thing down here because I'll probably need it. So then this is going to be negative 33 minus 6, which is going to be what? Negative 39. And then f of x plus 1, again, an expression here. So this is going to be f of, and I'm going to, you know what, I'm going to color code this. Let's just do this here. Let's just spruce this up a little bit. F of x plus 1. So the rule for f is 11 times something minus 6. What is the something? The something is x plus 1. That's what's going in for x. All right? So then I distribute, and I get 11x plus 11 minus 6. And then I combine my plus 11 and minus 6, 11x plus 5, and that is my final answer. That's my final answer. So g of x equals x cubed minus x plus 3. If I want to find g of 2 is going to be something cubed minus something plus 1. The something that I'm plugging in is 2, right? So that's going to be 2 cubed, which is 8. And here the parentheses were not necessary, but you have a negative number. They would have been necessary completely through there. And then minus 2 plus 1, right? We cubed that. And then we're going to put 8 minus 2 together. It doesn't matter the order here, okay? Because adding and subtracting can be in any order. And then add 6 plus 1 and get 7. So add 6 plus 1 and get 7 there. And then again, the same thing. I'm going to have something cubed minus something plus 1. This is negative x here, right? So this is going to be a negative times a negative times a negative. That you're cubing the negative and the x. You cannot write this. That is not correct. That's what it's going to end up being on this one, but you didn't write the correct thing down there. So this is going to be negative x cubed because of negative times negative times negative is negative. X cubed is x cubed. Then you multiply those. Right? There's no power on that, so just multiply negative times negative is positive x, and then plus 1, and there's your answer for that one. And then g of 2w is going to be, again, something cubed minus something plus 1. And that something this time is 2w. Now you're cubing the 2 and the w, so you better get what? 8w cubed and then minus 2w plus 1. And you cannot combine any of those, so you are then finished with that one. All right? So I've given you some expressions to plug in, even negative x, 2w, x plus 1, different variable, same variable, numbers, whatever, right? So let's just keep looking at some of these and see what we're going to do. H of p is the square root of 25 minus p, and then after the radical is minus 6. So when you write this, you can't do this. That's wrong, right? This is also wrong. It's got to stop exactly, and you know there's no ambiguity whatsoever. You know that minus 6 is not under the radical, and you know that 25 minus p is under the radical. Right? So then when you write it, you be very precise and distinct when you write it as well. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of give some demarcation lines here as well. It's going to be hard to fit the one in the middle there, but maybe we can make it work. This is going to be the square root of 25 minus, and anytime I plug in, I'm going to put it in parentheses, although on this particular problem, the parentheses is not necessary, but I'm going to put it in there anyway, minus 6. So it's going to be 25 minus 16 minus 6, and again, you could skip one of those steps. Square root of 25 minus 16 is 9 minus 6. What is the square root of 9? It's 3. What is 3 minus 6? Negative 3. Negative 3. So let me go ahead and, I wrote really big there, so let's go ahead and extend this way down here. And then this one is going to be the square root of 25 minus. Now here, that parentheses is necessary because you got to say negative times a negative, right? And we don't write two signs in a row. Did you hear that? We don't write two signs in a row. If you have plus a negative, that means minus. If you have minus a positive, that means minus. If you have minus a negative, that means plus. We don't write two signs in a row. It's not proper. We don't do that. Okay? Just one of my pet peeves. Sorry. I have students all the time come, my teacher said, no, why would you make it more complicated? It's one sign. Put one sign between each number. All right? So the square root of, let's simplify this to one sign. What does minus and negative mean? Plus. And those are not two signs in a row. There's a parenthesis between it, by the way. Okay? But we're going to simplify it down to one sign between 25 and 24 because one sign is always simpler than two signs. So then 25 plus 24 is 49. That's still, you have not taken the radical. Leave that under the radical. The minus 6 is not, but the 49 is. And that's going to be 7 minus 6, which is 1. 1. 7 minus 6 is 1. Right? And then h of 25 minus 2x. Really? So this is going to be the square root of 25 minus, and again, this must be there. Extend that. Notice what I did. I extended that fraction line. I mean, not fraction line, radical out. So is there any doubt that all that's under the radical? No. And then I'm going to put minus 6 out here. And is there any doubt that's not under the radical? No. There's no doubt in math. It's not ambiguous. Math is what it is. Okay? So equals, and this is going to be square root of 25 and then minus 25 plus 2x and then minus 6. So then these two go together and that actually cancels. Look at that. That's going to be the square root of 2x. That's a little too long. And then minus 6. And you're done. You can't put those together. So it doesn't always cancel like that. It just happened to cancel. So 2x is the only thing left under the radical and then minus 6. Right? Evaluate the piecewise function at the given values, okay? So sometimes I will reference piecewise functions. This is what this is. All this means is you have one definition in red up here of a function if x is less than or equal to -2, and then if x is greater than -2, you have a different definition of the function. It's just broken into pieces. Less than or equal to -2 is one piece, and greater than -2 is another piece, okay? So how do I evaluate f of -5? Well, I've got to plug -5 in for x, but do I do it here or here? That's the question. I don't know. Well, where is -5? Is -5 greater than -2? Nope. Yep, there it is. So we use this one right here. -5 is less than -2, so we use the one in red, the one at top, okay? We use the function that goes with where you have to figure out where this is. This is in here, so use this one, okay? So if we do that, this is going to be 2 times something minus 1, and that something is -5. I chose that function because that's where 5 was. This was in here, so we use this one, okay? So that's going to be -10 minus 1, which is -11, right? We do that first and then put that together. So -11. There is no other correct answer on this one. You cannot plug in -5 to the function on the bottom because it doesn't belong there. It doesn't go there. -5 is less than -2. And then f of -2. Is -2 greater than -2? No, so we can't use this one. Okay, and here, yes, it's equal to, right? So use this one right here. So again, we're going to use what? 2x minus 1. So this is going to be 2 times something minus 1, and that something is -2. It's going to be -4, right? Because we're going to multiply that first minus 1, put those together, and it's going to be what? -5. So -5. And then f of 5. So let's see. Do I plug it in the top one? No, because 5 is greater than -2, so we use this one. Right? It's not in this one anymore. It's that one. So that's the one we use. So here we go. We're going to take this and we're going to use, this is going to be 3 times something squared plus 1. That's what that function says, right? And that something is 5. So this is going to be 3. We got to do 5 squared first times 25 plus 1. Then we got to multiply 75 plus 1. And that's going to be 76. 76. So that was a piecewise function that was in 2 pieces. -2 was kind of the point where it was divided up, right? But equal to -2 in this case went with the one at the top. So now we have a piecewise function that is 3 pieces. 3 pieces. We have 2x squared plus 1 if x is less than -2, strictly less than -2. If it's equal to -2 or all the way up to 2 and including 2, so from -2 to 2 include those numbers, it's just x. It's just a number. You just plug it in, boom, you get the answer. And then 3x minus 4 if x is greater than 2. 3x minus 4 if x is greater than 2. Well, let's check it out. Let me go ahead and make my lines here. Let's go ahead and put me some lines in here to kind of mark these out. So g of -4. Where is -4? -4 is here, less than -2, so we use this one right here. Okay? So we're going to use 2 times something squared plus 1, and that something is the -4, right? But the -4, this number told me to use this one because it was in this interval right here. Okay? You with me on that? You have to look at what x you're given, then you have to find that x in your piecewise function, and then you go to the left and pick your function and figure out which one to use. Right? It's just a logical sequence there, right? Recognize what to do, do it, all right? So this is going to be 2 times 16, because when you square a -4, you're not doing all that. You're doing just squaring the -4. That's -4 times -4. The only correct way to do that is to put it in parentheses. If you or your teacher does this right here, the president, the pope, I don't care who does it, that's wrong, okay? It's just wrong. That's wrong. Like R-O-N-G wrong, it's spelled wrong, it's so wrong, okay? So it must have that. Otherwise, it is incorrect, right? So it's just wrong. Somebody says it's not wrong, tell them to call me. We'll talk about it. It's wrong, right? Plus 1. So then 2 times 16 is what? 32 plus 1, which is 33. 33. So then what about g of negative 2? Well, is that in this one? Nope. Is it in this one? Yes, negative 2 equals. So we use just x. So what we're going to do here, we're literally just going to say equals, plug it in, negative 2. And I put parentheses there because I'm plugging it in, but that was completely unnecessary. That answer is simply just plugging in is negative 2. All right, just plugging in is negative 2. What about 2? X is 2. Well, where is 2? Well, here equals 2. So again, we use this one. That's x. So we're going to plug in 2. Again, I didn't have to do that. But anytime I plug in, I'm usually putting it in parentheses. And then I say, oh, wait, I don't need that. It's just 2. If you can see that in your head, that's fine. This one, 5 is going to be, greater than 2, right? So use this one right here. So that means we're going to say 3 times something minus 4. What is that something? That something is 5, right? That goes in here. Then we're going to multiply those and get 15 minus 4. And then, just because I'm trying to use all my colors, 15 minus 4 is what? 11. 15 minus 4 is 11. So when you have piecewise functions, again, you've got to look at what x you're trying to evaluate. You've got to go find the piece of the piecewise function that corresponds to and use that function that goes with it. If you don't, you're going to mess up and miss it, right? So you have to do that, do it properly. Hope this helps with evaluating functions.